The Journey by Eugene Mathena. The mist clung low to the ground, wrapping the fallen like a mourning veil. The battle had raged, the cries of men and the thunder of musket fire now replaced by the eerie silence of death. Among the wounded, a young Confederate soldier named Johnny Tate pressed a shaking hand to his side where the bullet had torn through. He crawled from the battlefield, dragging himself into the thick Appalachian brush where the wilderness held him whole. For days he lay beneath the canopy of trees, the taste of blood and dust thick on his tongue. Fever dreams overtook him, visions of home, of his mother's voice calling from the porch. When he awoke, the sun hung low, golden beams slicing through the trees. Summoning the last of his strength, he pushed forward, his body weak, his mind fogged. Emerging from the brush, Johnny walked, staggering, bleeding for what seemed like miles of harsh terrain. Finally, he spotted a small, lonely house nestled against the foot of the mountain. Smoke curled from its chimney and the scent of cornbread drifted on the breeze. Staggering forward, he knocked, barely holding himself upright. The door creaked open to reveal an old woman, her face shined with love and brightness but lined with years of grief. Without a word, she ushered him inside. The woman's name was Ruby Dean, a mother whose 3 sons had all perished in the diabolical war. She took Johnny in, nurturing him back to health with a silent, knowing kindness. But as the days passed, Johnny noticed something peculiar. Townsfolk would visit, bringing Ruby supplies and checking in on her well-being, yet not one seemed to notice him. They never questioned his presence, nor acknowledged his existence. They spoke around him as though he were the wind. Doubt gnawed his mind. Am I truly here? Am I real? Am I crazy? The questions unsettled him. One evening, unable to stand the uncertainty, Johnny packed his few belongings, affectionately hugging Ruby, thanking her for her kindness, and left. He intended to venture deeper into the mountains where the land was ancient and untouched. As he stepped past the edge of Ruby's homestead, his eyes caught sight of 2 weathered tombstones beneath the sprawling branches of an oak tree. A chill ran through him as he read the name etched into one of the stones, Ruby Dean. His breath hitched, confusion clouding his thoughts. How could this be? He had just left her standing on the porch, waving him farewell. As the night swallowed him, he encountered a lone traveler, a man on horseback who rode the ridges as if he belonged to the land itself, as if he were a watcher. The man offered him wild honey biscuits, speaking in a hushed, reverent tone. Johnny accepted, but again something quenched him. Why did the traveler's eyes never quite meet his own? Who was he? The questions only lingered as Johnny, alone, moved on. Days later, Johnny came upon a shack nestled at the base of a mountain. A family lived there, poor and ragged, the father a poor farmhand, their mother Mamie frail and sick. The family paid him no mind, save for one, a small girl simply referred to as Little Sister. She watched him with solemn eyes, as though she saw through him. She never spoke, only stared, dressed in rags, crawling over the freezing cold floor of their shack. The realization dug into his bones like ice. Something is wrong? Determined to find answers, Johnny pressed on, winding his way through the dense wilderness. The mountains whispered his name, beckoning him forward. It was early morning when he found it, a hidden camp deep where no man dared to tread. Hundreds of soldiers milled about, their faces familiar yet distant, their voices murmuring the same question, "Are you the one? Are you the one?" Confusion wrapped around Johnny like a shroud. He asked for his company, the John breathed company number 881, but the men only stared through him, their eyes fogged over as if blind, with a strange, dreamlike haze. Days passed, the same old routine, up, drill, drill again, and then drill. Johnny seeking answers, but none would even acknowledge his voice. Then a man from the 54 Virginia Infantry named John Chennault stepped forward, speaking in hushed tones. "The messenger will come. He will tell us where to go next." And the next day he did. A shadowy figure appeared at the camp's entrance. The men welcomed him, speaking with him, yet Johnny felt only unease. The messenger slowly took control of the men, subtly commanding the soldiers, stripping away their will, their freedom. Slowly their spirits dimmed, enslaved to his bidding. They killed at his word, they suffered at his command. Only Johnny remained untouched by the decay, the carnage, his presence seemingly unnoticed by the dark figure. The horror deepened. The messenger grew stronger, feeding off the men's sins, their despair. But Johnny saw the truth. The messenger was no guide, but a parasite, consuming souls of those that would allow him, those that were lost, those not yet set free. Indignation filled him, and Johnny did what none dared. He spoke against the dark messenger. His words struck like fire, causing the shadowed being to writhe and scream with pain as each flame of truth left Johnny's mouth, cutting the messenger as a sharp sword. Each condemnation weakened the entity, and the men began to awaken from their stupor, to see and understand the truth, being set free. Then from the void shone a great light. It was not the dawn, but something beyond. Little sister stood within it, radiant and pure. Ruby was there too, along with the kind traveler, Mamie, and the townsfolk. The men of the camp shielded their eyes, their forms flickering like embers in a dying fire in comparison. "The light of life," John Chenault exclaimed. "He has come to set us free. He is the one we have waited for. He delayeth his coming, but he is come." And in that moment, Johnny understood. They were all ghosts. The men, the camp, even himself, spirits bound to the land by unfinished business. Spirits bound by the work of a thief, a murderer, a destroyer, the accuser. His body had never left the battlefield. It lay hidden in the brush where he had crawled, long forgotten. But now the light had come. One by one, the soldiers stepped forward, embraced by the radiance, their forms dissolving into peace. The messenger shrieked as the light consumed him, dragging him chained into a bottomless pit. Johnny felt warmth envelop him, a loving voice whispering, "You are free." As his soul ascended, he looked back one last time. The mountains stood eternal, silent witnesses to the past. And then, with a final breath, he heard, "Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord," and then he was gone. At peace at last.